In this video, we'll look at how you can add colour to your chord progressions by using borrowed chords. They give a piece a surprise element without having to change key. To understand where we can borrow chords from, we need to understand the different modes in music. There are 7 modes that we can use: Ionian, which is major, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, which is natural A minor, and Locrian. C Ionian, or major, contains the chord triads containing all the white notes, with C as the tonic, the starting note of the scale. D Dorian has the same chords as C major, but we start on the D minor. We're playing the same chords, but we're starting at a different point. Each mode has its distinct sound, which can be demonstrated by playing the tonic, subdominant and dominant chords. The intervals between the chords are different in each mode. The song's tonic can sometimes be the first note or chord of the song, it could be the last note or chord, sometimes it's just difficult to tell. A piece may even switch modes, but the theory of borrowing chords while in any mode can still apply. To get a list of the borrowed chords, let's use C major as an example, which is highlighted in gold. We change the table so that the starting or tonic note is C for each mode. These are the chords that we can borrow, which are highlighted in blue. As you can see, each mode relates to a different major key. Using the circle of fifths gives us a good idea of the chords we can borrow and how far from the original key they are. You can see the highlighted C tonic in each mode. The idea is we can borrow a mode sound that shares the same tonic to create interest. So for example, C minor's relative major key is E flat major. They share the same chords, but the tonic is different. If you're playing a major, it's most common to borrow from the parallel minor. You will find substituting any of these chords will work really well. Borrowing from Lydian, Mixolydian, Dorian and minor sound pretty good. Borrowing chords from further around the world may sound a bit more unsettling, and it all depends on the sound you want. So if you're playing in A minor, the relative major would be A. This would be the most common mode to borrow from. Let's see some examples of borrowing chords. I'll transpose these to C so we can keep the reference. Toto by Africa borrows a B flat major in the first verse. The B flat's in several modes, so we could say we borrow from any of these. It doesn't really matter. The key then changes into B flat or G minor for the chorus. It borrows that chord before modulating into the related key. It becomes less common to borrow from Phrygian and Locrian modes, but borrowing from these modes can create an interesting sound. Let's take RadioHead's Just. The G flat's borrowed from Locrian. We also borrow from minor and Dorian in the chorus. I think this creates a really interesting sound. We've not really mentioned about borrowing diminished chords yet. A diminished triad has similar quality tones to a dominant major seventh. Let's take B diminished. In its simplest 3-note or triad chord, B, D and F, if you add a G below, it becomes a G7. This wants to resolve to a C. Here's how a half diminished, B, D, F and A, a full diminished, which is B, D, F and A flat, and C major sounds. Diminished chords are great passing chords. These are chords that connect 2 chords together. Let's take C, C diminished, B diminished, and C. And let's see what happens when we take D diminished as the borrowed chord. So what about the chords outside the borrowed range? We can still use these chords, it's just that we're not borrowing a mode sound. Let's say take G flat minor to F, or maybe G flat minor to D minor. They sound interesting and resolve quite nicely. Also, the B, E and A major sevenths are secondary dominants in C major, and so these will resolve nicely into E minor, A minor and D minor respectively. Please join me in the second part video. We will examine secondary dominants into more detail. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And thank you for watching, it means a lot.